Alright guys, just thought I'd do an update this week. I haven't done one for a while. I've met up with a few friends over the last month or so. Um, I've got to say, a lot of the viewpoints sort of reinforce why we moved to Spain, and it was the right decision. Um, I keep hearing stuff around the Brexit stuff, but I suppose one of the things I want to say on that, the negativity around Brexit just seems to drive more of a reason why Spain is the right option. Um, but also, there's less people coming to the UK and more people leaving the UK. Um, but it's a peculiar time. I've got to admit, it does frustrate me with hearing some of the stuff that people come out with about. Um, I love it when people say they. They say businesses will leave the UK if Corbyn puts taxes up if he gets in corporate tax. At the same time, I'm going. What I find bizarre is the people that post this stuff are often the them and us sort of scenario, where this is actually just the UK and UK. So myself, I know in the 90s there was an exodus of a lot of businesses. A lot of jobs went that were minimum pay because quite simply they couldn't afford to operate from the UK. It's just too expensive, and the changes of the minimum wage and how the pay works. A lot of companies simply went to Eastern Europe. Now, what I find bizarre is people think that's a great idea. We should get rid of these businesses. We'll get rid of manufacturing. We'll get rid of farming. We'll get rid of all these jobs because people should be having this mystical living wage. Because the reality is rental prices and house prices are overpriced in the UK, because if that was actually realistic in the sense of real value, then everything else wouldn't be so expensive in the first place. As such, the living wage wouldn't be so high either. But a lot of people just don't seem to understand how all the dots connect between the different things, because it's a bit like work. It's nice to get paid a reasonable salary, but at the same time, if somebody's earning $40 on a production line, this was a prime example of I think it was Oregon, where you had ex-GM workers working at the same factories, now owned by a Chinese company that manufactures windscreens. They used to get paid nearly $40 an hour, and now paid 14. But the job is completely manual. It's not about output. It's not about ability. It's not about added value. It's purely that you work these hours, so you should get paid more. It just doesn't make any sense, because the point being is the market would never be that level. You could never have a doctor earning the same as somebody working at McDonald's, for example. It doesn't make any sense. You got 10 years of training to get into becoming a doctor. You got the risks and liabilities of being a doctor or a surgeon. You've got way more problems that can come out of your day to day, rather than clock on, do a shift and leave and forget about it. It's nowhere. It's not even in the same ballpark, which is why I can't really understand when some of these people come out with this stuff, because it's not. The dots ain't connected. It's just bizarre that people assume that that's how the world should be. One of the problems in the UK is problems around infrastructure, for example, is getting rid of a lot of the lower salary jobs. Getting things done becomes a lot more expensive because people won't do it. They're often not allowed to do it. There's all the other associated stuff with doing anything, filling in a pothole, all the paperwork involved in it. And It's overcomplicating a simple task. But all of that is part of the same thing. It's all part of this thing where people think, well, you should pay this, you should do it. There is nothing in their mind thinking, well, why are they paid more already? No, they're getting paid too much. The people that are flipping burgers should be paid the same. It's just bizarre. It's bizarre. So for me, I look at some of this stuff and it just doesn't make any sense. And when I speak to some of my friends lately, the majority of them are sort of questioning where they want to be. And this is the important point of today's video, is they're not really thinking about the UK as being where they want to be in the future. There's people looking much, much further afield, heading back to Asia, for example, moving to Spain, moving to other countries. They are not seeing the UK as their home. And the reason that's important is it shows a division. And it's not a small division in the UK now. You've got people that are pro or pro-Remain, or pro-Leave, and you've got other people that are quite simply just fed up with all of it. Myself, not really fussed. I'm locked into a goal, and this is one of the things I wanted to bring up on the video. You just focus on your own goals. Don't get dragged into the politics. Don't get dragged into people having a viewpoint over facts. You know, in the sense of they have a view, but there is no depth to it. There is no full explanation of their beliefs, their outcomes, the outputs from it. It's all like, well, Corbyn will fix it, or the Tories will do this or that. It's like, you know what? UK economy's been in decline for a long time. Tories and Labour have both been in at different times. Has either of them fixed the economy? No, nowhere near. So all I can say on that front is, don't worry about it. Whoever's in won't fix it, and it will be an ongoing problem for the next 100 years probably. But main thing is just to focus on your own life, your own goals, your own focus, where you want to be, what your output is. I mean, a few of my friends are getting up to retirement age or starting to wind up that way. So they're starting to focus on moving abroad. And this is one of the things I do hear as well, where people say, oh, well, they shouldn't be able to have their pension abroad. You know what? I love you people, because personally I would love to not pay into the UK health system. I would love to not pay into the national insurance system at all and manage my own money. But guess what? I've paid for that. So somebody on their soapbox saying these people shouldn't be able to retire elsewhere in the world, they paid for it in their working lives. It's not for you to decide because you just want to have a moan. It's all very, very peculiar. What's the other thing I know? The NHS, for example. At least 24% of the NHS is foreign labour, if not more. Where I'm at the moment, I can understand some people being frustrated with the number of people from outside the UK living in the UK, because it seems overrun here, in the sense of nearly everywhere you go, people are speaking Russian, Polish, etc., etc. There's people living in the graveyards, in tents and stuff. All very, very peculiar. But at the same time, is it really a big problem? For me, I couldn't care less. As long as I can go to get what I want from a shop and I don't have to speak Polish to get it, I couldn't care less. You know, at the end of the day, it's not really affecting the majority of things. It's just the influx was, I mean, from what I can see, the original influx with the worker labour was to bring down the costs of construction labour. Now, I was with a friend yesterday who was talking about the landlords, the landowners. There's a new law coming in very soon, which they're trying to get out of the EU before it comes through, because quite simply all the hedge funds and the shell companies and everything that has equity investments and things like that, where they've got buildings and hotels and all sorts of things that they're hiding for tax evasion purposes, becomes transparent. And I can understand that. I can understand why they're not keen on staying in the EU at that point. That would make a perfect reason for an exit for them. Some of the wealthiest people hiding a ridiculous amount of money in false companies. But even then, like I said, personally, couldn't care less. I don't think it's going to make any difference to me, impact-wise. I don't think it's going to make any difference to the majority of people. The only things that do are people arguing with each other, people falling out over things that they have no control over, people having strong viewpoints and not actually going away and researching how everything ties together. It's peculiar, very peculiar times. But all I can say is take the same view I am. Don't get involved in it. Just get on with whatever you need to do. Set yourself a goal. If you're going to move over to Spain, Brexit or no Brexit, look at where you want to go, what you want to do, how you're going to achieve it, and just focus on that. The rest will fall in line over time anyway. Always does. There will always be people wanting to leave somewhere, and there's always a way to do it. Let's face it, Brits move to Australia, yeah. Brits move to the Philippines, yeah. Brits move to America, yeah. South America, yeah. That's all outside the EU. Hasn't stopped them. No. That's reality. I mean, this is even if we left tomorrow, you would still be able to move to the majority of countries. You may have to go through some more hoops, but the most tedious one's actually the UK anyway. So don't worry about it. Anyway, thanks for watching.